There are two positions, one on offense and one on defense, that if they live up to expectations, will take the Eagles to another level. And speaking of expectations, isn't it interesting that Eagle fans have much higher expectations for their team than the Dallas Cowboy fans?
Dallas still stinks.
You might do it, Dingbat here. I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. You know, there are two positions on the Eagles roster, one on offense and one on defense, that I think, if they live up to expectations, will take this team to another level. And speaking of expectations, it's very funny to me that the Eagle fans hold their team in higher regard. They have higher expectations year in and year out than the Dallas Cowboy fans, and I'm going to prove it. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you so much for all the support you give to me. It truly means a lot. Now, let me explain something I have to say. I have to get out, okay? I don't know if you're going to call this a mini rant or what, but I got to say this. When you see a video, and the video says, at Philly 500 in the title, I reserve the right to respond. Matter of fact, I assume that the person's asking me to respond. So if I want to respond to me, I have every right. And when Mark Holmes does the last 4 out of the last 5 videos on Philly 500, on the Eagles, I reserve the right to respond. It's only fair. And that's the thing that he seems to forget. Mark has a very short memory. I think he's sanding too much wood, painting the fence. Maybe he's smelling that paint fumes or something, because he forgets. He goes months and months and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks talking about the Eagles, taking shots at the Eagles, putting videos, clips of me up, right, streaming whole things with me. And I don't respond. Then I finally respond and I get, why are you talking about the Dallas Cowboys? Why are you talking about the Dallas Cowboys? I have every right to respond, all right? And let's face it, it's July 1st. It's July 1st. This is the time to do it, because once camp starts, I ain't going to have time. It's going to be everything about what's going on in camp, and I ain't going to talk too much about the Cowboys until we're either streaming their games or we're getting ready to play them. So now's the time to address all those things. And I got to address Mark Holmes again, because he puts out bullcrap. And I was listening to his videos, and you know, it occurred to me, the guy has never answered my main question that I asked him a few weeks ago. When are you going to hold Dak Prescott responsible for his playoff record? When is that going to happen? You see, all they want to talk about is Dallas could beat the Eagles. Dallas could beat the Eagos. Go on Twitter. That's all you hear the Cowboy fans talk about. Dallas could beat the Eagles. Dallas could beat the Eagles. You go back and you look at my videos. You look at Mark Holmes' videos. It's always about the Eagles, about the Eagles, about the Eagles, right? As we're talking about playoffs, Super Bowls, championships, fighting with the San Francisco 49er fans all season, maybe more so than the Dallas Cowboy fans. But our expectations, and Philadelphia Eagle fans' expectations, is high. We want a Super Bowl. Our expectations are to win a Super Bowl. You go back and you look at my comment sections when Carson Wentz was a quarterback. You look at the responsibility that Eagle fans were putting on him for his playoff record and his miserable failure. However, when you deal with the Cowboy fans, they just talk about, oh, well, we can beat the Eagles. We have a great record against the Eagles. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts can't beat Dak Prescott, which is the biggest load of crap ever, okay? Jalen Hurts has been, in the league like 3 years? So his first year rookie, they weren't that good. What do you expect from the guy? Second year was like basically his first year as a starter. Their roster was in flux. And then last year, He has a great roster, and he goes out there and he beats the Cowboys. And he's going to actually complain about the guy and his performance against the Cowboys. The guy had 104.6 quarterback rating, 2 touchdowns thrown, one to A.J. Brown, one to Devontae Smith, and we're supposed to get down on his performance. And he wants to actually, and this is what Mark Holmes was saying, that actually Minshew actually scored more points than the Eagles average. So therefore, they would never have won with Jalen Hurts. They would have destroyed Dallas in that second game with Jalen Hurts. That last drive that would have won the game for us, Jalen Hurts wins that game. There's no question about it. But I think it's funny that Mark Holmes has yet to answer the question. When are you going to hold your quarterback responsible for his playoff losses? Cowboy fans, all they want to focus on is the Eagles. We have the Eagles. We beat the Eagles. We beat Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott beat Jalen Hurts. Yet, you never talk about the fact that you can't beat the 49ers, that you can't get out of the second round of the playoffs. I want to know, when are they going to hold their quarterback responsible for losing yet again in the playoffs? Eagle fans, we're talking about Super Bowl or bust. We're not talking about, we're gonna just have a better record against Dak Prescott. I mean, look, beating Dallas is part of it. You got to win your division. I get all that. However, I've never heard Mark Holmes say, there are real legitimate questions about whether Dak Prescott can win a big game. He has to show us. He has to prove it. There's always some sort of an excuse. Always an excuse. As were the Eagle fans, that one Tampa Bay game in the playoffs, people were already bailing on Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts, that was only his first playoff performance. Then he goes, in his second year going into the playoffs, he goes to the Super Bowl. One drive away. Give the guy one more drive, and he's a Super Bowl champion. And he will be after this year. But Eagle fans hold their team with higher expectations, and we demand way more from our team than Cowboy fans demand of theirs. You know what I'm saying? They're all about the show and the flashy stuff. We're about winning. That's the truth, Mark. Answer the question. When are you going to hold your quarterback responsible? Is this the year that if he goes to the playoffs and can't beat the 49ers or can't get out of the second round, is this the year you're going to hold him responsible? Because I know the Eagle fans will be holding their team responsible. I can tell you that right there. 3 chins in the back of my head hitting again. Always hitting, man. Come on. Now, I said my piece about that. I want to talk about the Eagles because there are 2 positions that I look at, one on offense, one on defense, and I say, if the Eagles, if these positions and these specific players, if they show up and live up to expectations, I think the Eagles are going to go to another level, okay? The first position that I want to talk about, and really I'm going to talk about it as a group position, is the running back spot. I believe that if the Eagles, I think they have 2 very talented running backs. I think more talented than Miles Sanders. But they have 2 very talented running backs that haven't been able to stay healthy, haven't been able to stay on the field. And that's a big problem. And I'm really concerned about Rashad Penny with that especially. But if one of those guys, especially DeAndre Swift, if he lives up to expectations and he plays to the level that he's capable of playing, it will add a whole nother dynamic to the Eagles offense. It will take the Eagles offense to another level. And the reason I say that is because he is going to get a lot of catches out of the backfield. I think he's going to have 40 to 50 catches out of the backfield this year. He is going to be a big part of the Philadelphia Eagles. And what I like about Penny especially is that I think you have now a guy who can legitimately get you a 3rd and 1, 3rd and short. So you don't always have to run or put Jalen Hurts in danger. So if the running back spot, that position, that group position, if they can stay healthy and just live up to expectations, they will take this offense to another level. This offense will actually get better than it was a year ago. But they got to show up. And I have a really good feeling about DeAndre Swift this year. I'm very, very excited about him. So we'll see. The other position is on defense. And I'm going to put this as more of a specific person, okay? Now, a lot of you guys may be thinking it's linebacker, the Eagles and Kobe Dean really show up, but it's not. It's not. To me, the guy, the difference maker, the guy that can take the Eagles on defense to another level is Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis lives up to his expectations. If he lives up to his athletic ability, if he lives up to where he was picked, if he lives up to that, the Eagles' defensive line will be dominant again. I mean, they're already going to be pretty dominant, but I think we're talking about a repeat of last year in terms of sacks. I think that they, in some ways, they'll actually be better, have a better defensive line. They'll be better against the run. Jordan Davis, if he can make that impact on the defensive line, it will resonate with the rest of the defense. It will help the linebackers, it will help the safeties, it will help the corners, and it will be devastating. Plus, just think about it. If he's getting double teamed all the time and they're having to double team him, Jalen Carter is going to have one-on-one. Fletcher Cox, one-on-one. It's going to open up things for those guys. Jordan Davis, to me, he is truly an anchor on defense. And if he can perform to what we think he is, then the Eagles' defense is going to be even better. Okay, that's just two positions that I think change the game. Of course, you have things like the right guard spot. You know, Cam Jurgens playing right guard, we assume. He's going to have to play well. I think there's questions, obviously, with safety, obviously with linebacker. But I think Jordan Davis lives up to expectations. And then you have, of course, what you're going to have with Jalen Carter, because he's going to be a stud. Fletcher Cox. That defensive line will be even more dominant than it was a year ago. And then on the offense, that running game, if those running backs live up to expectations, especially DeAndre Swift, and the element that he gives the Eagles of a receiving running back, somebody that can catch out of the backfield, it will give the Eagles an added dimension on offense, and they'll be even better than they were a year ago. Just my thoughts. That's what I'm thinking. With that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections. What one position on offense and one position on defense do you guys think would make the biggest impact for the Eagles if the player can rise up or live up to the expectations that the Eagles have put on him? With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it. I saw the thing that Deshaun Jackson said about Chip Kelly, how he dismantled the team. I could not agree with Deshaun Jackson more. He is right. Chip Dip Kelly screwed us. He screwed us, okay? Chip Dip Kelly, why you would, first of all, trade Nick Foles for Sam Bradford was horrible. I hated when he did it, and he shouldn't have done it. And it would have been really interesting if you would have kept that team together, even if it was Michael Vick and then it transitioned to Nick Foles. I do think that they could have gone to a Super Bowl within a few years. You might win it a year or two earlier than you did. You might have won two, but that was a team that just needed to let their young guys develop and play, and they could have done some great things. But that's what Chip Dip Kelly did. He came in and he traded them away, gave those guys away for nothing. Thank God he's gone. Denzel Washington out.